So I thought I'd put together a bit of a reel from 2021, my first season spearfishing, and these are grampus dolphins, which are pretty unusual. We haven't seen them for about 10 years. They joined us on our way to Jersey this year, which was fantastic. This bass was sleeping in the thongweed, and after I shot him, a bigger bass just shot out from underneath him. So this is where you need two guns, or a gun with two spears maybe. This was another French bass sleeping in the thongweed. I tried different techniques for approaching bass in the thongweed, but most reliable option was to shoot them from the top down, which was quite difficult because it presents the smallest part of the fish, and typically like this one they get wrapped up and tangled. This was an area where I'd been diving for a while, but hadn't seen anything, and then managed to find a pinch point where the current was swooshing through, and there was a bit more activity. This is quite a good moment for me, my first bream. I've been diving up and down for a while, seen some small mullet, and in the distance just a different flash of silver caught my eye. Very good tasting, and yeah, nice to add a new species to the list. I shot a few flounders through the season, but I found the ones in the winter taste much better. If you can find them away from the estuaries and maybe on sand rather than mud, I found them really good tasting later in the season. This one was quite hard to see. Another flounder here, easier to spot, and one that I managed to hit successfully. Dived down and grabbed the other end of the spear to make sure he was secure on the flopper. Possibly the most fun I've found is shooting mullet in shallow water. They always go absolutely mad when you shoot them. I've had some fantastic times chasing lobsters and trying to get them out of holes this year. I've had much less success with getting them on film. I've had all sorts of issues with getting the GoPro pointed the right way, and also actually filming when you get the shot. This lobster took over an hour to get out of his hole, so I've condensed all the clips down. Put this in as a reminder to myself to always load 2 bands unless you're shooting for flatfish. I'm so upset about this fish. Annoyed that I hit him and he got away, and hope I didn't harm him. One of the biggest surprises for me this year was triggerfish. I had absolutely no idea that we had them in our waters and how good they were to eat. So that's a real learning for me from this season, and I was lucky enough to shoot several in Ireland this year. This second clip here it's hard to see, but there was about 20 triggerfish all just looking at me and fluttering around in the distance. This is our little barbecue that we heap on the boat, and it was absolutely beautiful, marinated in soy sauce, chilli and garlic. Some species are a bit controversial, and this thornback ray, I did shoot him and take him home. I've only had one this season, and it was fantastic tasting, but probably leave the next one I see. This was a ghost gill net that I found diving. I'd seen it up on the rocks and went to investigate to see if I could get it off. And then unfortunately found a whole mass of dead sea life tangled up in it. Managed to rescue some poor creatures, some crabs, a couple of lobsters, managed to cut free, but most of the fish was rotting. The stench was absolutely unbelievable. I was in two minds what to do, but once I'd started clearing it and freeing the animals, I didn't even think about it, just carried on clearing it and getting it into the dinghy. Managed to clear it off the rocks, and fortunately some people helped me grab it up the beach, and afterwards I managed to get out before sunset and find a couple of bass, which ended off the day well. So that's it really for the season. Lots of clips I haven't put in. Probably some of my best fish haven't actually got on film, but I'll try and do better next season and catch as many different varieties of fish as I can and try and get them on film.